Now, we have been taught since birth that we are spinning on a ball that is floating in outer space. But our ancestors believed that we lived on a flat plane or planet or this realm. Okay? Here we have a picture of a cup of water being poured on top of a round surface. On the left, you said pseudoscience versus actual science. Now, rain would not stick to the rooftop. Rain would not stick to my car. Rain would not stick to anything, but supposedly millions of gallons of water in the ocean is sticking to a ball. So this is how we challenge this theory. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is for conspiracy theory. Nothing that I say in this video is true. Go do your own research. But it does not make sense. We have been told since birth that this is how our planet looks, that we are on a spinning ball floating in outer space. But this is a more accurate representation of where we live. Water always finds its level. Always, okay? So if I pour water into a cup, it will find its level. If I pour water into any container, it will find its level. But they will tell us that we're spinning on the ball, and now all of a sudden the science behind that is gravity, and millions of gallons of water is sticking to this spinning, rotating, floating ball in space. But on top of that, there are other lands outside of the ones that we know about. Here we see there several different examples of this. Here you can see right here, this was one of the oldest astronomical clocks ever created in history, where it was based on a flat earth. This is the 1587 Urbano Monte map. This is one of the oldest flat earth maps in the world, okay? You can find this in Stanford University. It's inside of the David Rumsey collection. Go do some research on it. It is one of the most unique and most detailed maps ever created in history, but they will still tell you that we are spinning on a ball. Now, they will tell you that our ancestors were primitive. They didn't have fire, they didn't have electricity, but if you look closely at history, you will see that our ancestors didn't just live here, but they built the world that we live in today. They mapped the stars, they mapped the cosmos, they mapped the astrology, they mapped and studied nature, they studied the very essence of life and death itself, and they figured all of this out. And this knowledge was passed down for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. But up until recently, until the New World Order, parasites took charge. Now all of this knowledge is all labeled as myth or mythology. Our ancestors were smarter than us. They were more genius than us. They were more inventive. They were more creative. Their IQ was higher than us. They figured out every part of life, every aspect, life, death, everything in between, the cosmology, the stars, the maps, the nature, everything. So the things that they tell us is myth is most likely true. And the things that they tell us is true is most likely a lie. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is just my opinion, allegedly. History needs to be questioned. History needs to be questioned when they created magnificent buildings like this that were architecturally sound and down to the last centimeter at a time where they say that there was only horse and buggy, horse and carriage, and hammer and chisel. They will say that they built buildings like this with only a hammer and chisel. You would have need an army, an entire army of skilled architects to build this. And it would have took that same army 200, 300, 400 years to build buildings like this made out of granite and limestone, some of the hardest materials on the face of the earth. We know the lifespan of a human being isn't that long. So how were they able to build this at a time where there was only horse and buggy? We need to question the narrative. We need to question what we were told. Part of the reason that our ancestors were able to build these magnificent structures at a time where they say it was only horse and buggy is because there have been other species, there have been other beings, there have been other races that have come into and helped us with our architecture and the advancement of our society. But when the New World Order parasites took control, all of that stopped. So we only know about the land that they told us about. This is why they tell us that we are spinning on a ball. But we live on a flat earth surface. And outside of it, there are other lands of other people, other species, and other beings that are trying to set us free. But you cannot set a group of people free that don't know that they're actually enslaved. Go watch the movie The Matrix. It explains it all too clearly. Some people are so drowned in the system that they would do anything to protect it because that's all they know. But if you ask them, are they tired of getting up, working and slaving, and never getting anywhere, never getting ahead, knowing if you're going to be able to survive to the next day, you will tell them no. But when you start to talk about these subjects, then they will push back and they will fight against you because they are designed and programmed. They've been programmed since birth, like most of us, until we woke up, to protect a system that is not in your favor. I'm going to come back. I'm going to talk about it some more. I'm going to drop some more heaters. I'm going to drop some more fire. I'm here to drop something to make you think. I'm out.